This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. You're looking at some 45-inch tall nettles. I said nettles. Those are a blessing to have. Most years, lucky to get 3 foot. We have so much drought in this area, but we've had a continual rain this year. So those nettles are more than doing their share of growing. And they'll expand. Now I got them off the river bottom years ago, dug up a little plant. And these have been growing ever since, and I take some of the offshoots and put back on the river in different locations so that it expands my nettle garden. Perhaps you should have a nettle garden too, and for all the uses that they do. But I'll let you look that up because you're here for a story.
A story. My boss down at the bakery, he said, "Mr. Bill, you're not a target of the government. The government is not trying to destroy you. Not the school, not the city, not the county, not the state, nor the federal government. You're not a target of those people." And I said, I think I have been over the last 32 years. So many times that I can't even keep track. But I said, never once have they ever successfully run a sting on me and got me to break the law. But that didn't stop them from trying something different. And this time they were successful. Not in getting me to break the law, but just to financially devastate me. And it goes like this. I had a law enforcement officer come to the door and come into my home. County law enforcement. And he said, "I've got a woman I'd like to put in your basement house rental property. It's open." And I said, "Yeah, I've started renting it because we'd over here in the log house." And I said, "Obama's health care is costing us massive sums of money, devastating us." And I said, "I've got to rent it to keep, the bills paid." And I said, "But I'm kind of nervous of who I put in there." And he said, "You will have no trouble with this woman that I want you to put in." He said, "She will be the best renter you've ever had. She'll pay her rent with no trouble, and she'll stay there for a long time." And he said, "Now, she does have a couple of kids." And I said, "No, I don't want any kids over there." I said, "It's too small a place for that. Only one bedroom is insulated." And he said, "No, you won't have any trouble there. These are perfect angel kids. They will never cause you any trouble." And I said, "And I don't want any pets over there." And he said, "Don't have to worry about that either." And everything I said, he had an answer for it to calm me down. And again, he's standing there with a uniform on, and you assume that he's probably telling you straight, though I didn't know the man from Adam, other than the uniform of a county law enforcement. Okay, fine. Well, the woman got in and paid the first month's rent. That was the last thing she ever paid. It took 2 months to get her kicked out. I said kicked out. And that would have been bad enough to have lost that much money, and I had to pay the utilities. That would have been hard enough for me to take that hit. But she also had backed up the sewer in the house, so they were using the living room rug as a bathroom. I said that's what they were using, for a bathroom. You bet. Stink astronomically. Plus she had dog and cat, which she did not have permission to have there. Devastating stink. And they didn't have a litter box and weren't let outside, so that added to the stink. They then tore the ceiling down and messed up the walls. The carpets were ruined, absolutely ruined. And this was a good renter, he said. Thousands of dollars it's going to cost in repairs that I don't have. And of course add to it the lost money to begin with. You bet. This is what the government does. If they can't put a sting at you one way, they'll come at you another. So was Mr. Bill targeted? You bet. That's the only way I can see it.